Welcome back for the finale of What If Anakin Left the Jedi Order with Ahsoka. Thank you to those of you who have watched the first two parts of this What If. If you haven't seen them, go check those out before watching this video. The links will be in the description below. As they walked past several impressive monuments, Anakin stopped in his tracks. Ahsoka turned around and saw her master on the ground, clutching his head in pain. If Anakin's eyes had been flickering yellow before, they were now full of pure hate. Getting to his feet, Anakin barely registered the presence of Ahsoka as he made his way towards the tomb of Darth Bane. The spirit of the Sith Lord swelled around him, but Anakin did not fear it. Pushing it into its tomb, Anakin was suddenly pushed back himself to Ahsoka by a cloud of Sith magic. Anakin was no longer possessed, and they could both see a hooded figure in the distance. Running to their ship, the Sith magic chased after them, but they just escape in time to leave the dark side planet. Flying to Coruscant once more, Anakin's experience left him scarred, and he knew the true power of the dark side. A message from his mentor Chancellor Palpatine interrupted his thoughts, and he thought that a talk with him might be useful. Taking a speeder to the office of the Supreme Chancellor, the shaken Anakin senses a coldness he had not felt before his trip to Korriban. Entering the office, Palpatine is nowhere to be found. Walking closer to the wide window, Anakin's eyes cannot believe the sight. The skyline was dominated by separatist destroyers and gunships, raining terror upon the place he had called home. Using the Chancellor's holoprojector to try and contact Ahsoka, he is instead met by the terrifying form of General Grievous. The Kaleesh warrior, who had been largely forgotten in the chaos of recent events, held both Palpatine and Ahsoka, and the anger returned to the former Jedi Knight. Anakin rushed to his starship and flew to Grievous's flagship. Anakin was dodging the aerial droids, weaving from side to side, when he was struck from behind his ship. An overwhelming warning in the Force told him that this new threat was larger, and Anakin started spinning to the flagship. Crashing into Grievous's hangar, his ship disintegrates as the clone squadron soon collides into his ship. Firing their blasters at Anakin, the former Jedi is taken aback, but responded in time to deflect their hits with his lightsaber. With Ahsoka and Palpatine in mortal peril, Anakin force pushed them all into the firing arms of a pair of B-2 battle droids, and escaped to a turbolift. Cutting a hole in the roof, Anakin leaps through a set of doors above him, and onto a raised platform. Running inside, he does not see General Grievous, rather the hooded figure who had tortured him on Korriban. Rising from his seat, he wordlessly gestured to the corner of the room, and out emerged Grievous. Expecting to fight the cyborg, Anakin jumped down, but he dragged out an unconscious Ahsoka. Anakin aggressively force-pushed Grievous, before the Sith Lord told him that the only way to save her was to join him. Removing his hood, the Sith Lord revealed himself to be Palpatine. A stunned Anakin had to react fast, as Grievous had recovered and attacked him, much to the annoyance of Palpatine. Using his platforms to his advantage, Anakin squashed Grievous underneath one of them, buying him time to carry Ahsoka. But the Sith Lord easily plucked Ahsoka away from his grasp. Anakin was conflicted, until they all heard the sound of the turbolift doors opening. Out stepped Jedi Masters Obi-Wan Kenobi, Yoda, and Mace Windu, who had all managed to survive Order 66. Leaving the protection of the Jedi Temple to the other Jedi Masters, the legendary Jedi duelist had sensed danger on Grievous's ship. Obi-Wan vaulted to the coughing General Grievous, whereas Yoda and Windu attacked Palpatine. Releasing his grip on Ahsoka, Palpatine used his patented force signing to distract the attackers, and it allowed him to unsheath his lightsaber. As Ahsoka rolled across the floor, she finally woke from her slumber. Finding her lightsabers near the throne, Ahsoka summoned them to her hands, and grabbed a confused Anakin to engage General Grievous. The dazed Anakin is swept aside through a mighty kick from Grievous, and this seemed to bring him back to his senses. Joining the fight against the Sith Lord, Anakin bullied Yoda and Windu out of the way, and using some of his dark side energy, reflected Force lightning back onto the Sith. The Sith stumbled backwards in surprise, and Anakin wasted no time in eliminating the torturer, foiling the plans of the Sith. Behind him, Grievous was surrounded by 4 lightsaber duelists, and his programming could not keep up with the speed. Obi-Wan finally kills his old foe, and the ship begins to rumble. Running to the bridge, they regain control, and the ship descends to Coruscant. crashing in front of a group of Jedi. They had done a thorough job in clearing the clones. Watching Padme run towards Ahsoka and himself, Anakin had achieved what he wanted when he left the Jedi Order. That is it for What If Anakin Left the Jedi Order with Ahsoka. If you enjoyed this, please like this video, turn on your notification bell, and subscribe for more what ifs. And as always, leave a comment on what if you'd like to see next, and how I can improve my videos. Thank you all very much for watching, and see you next time.